What's up, y'all? You already know what motherfucking time it is when you hear that voice. It's time for Sorry If I Offend You, the podcast, the one, the only Monday night motherfucking special. And today I have Akeim.
Oh,
I got you. I was going to give you, just give me time. Akeim, the dream, the man, new podcaster on the motherfucking block. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? So I'm a podcaster. I work at the radio station as well. So those kind of correlate together. Full focusing on my podcast, really. I'm trying to bring everybody's dreams to reality. That's really what I'm trying to do.
And what's your podcast name?
It's Inside the Dream.
Okay. And what is that your last name, Dream?
No.
So what is that? How did that go about? Because it rhymes?
Yeah, and Akeim is my middle name. So that's what I've been going by for a couple years.
Can we get your real name?
I'd rather be known by my middle name because I don't like my real name. So
what does it start with at least?
A J. I go by J. I'll tell you.
Okay, so you go by J. All right. Can I guess what your real name is?
I promise you won't.
I won't. How many letters is in it?
8.
Josiah.
No.
I was wrong. Anyways, all right, whatever. Mysterious J. Akeim. Akeim. Why did I want to put an H in there? I be naming people whatever I want to name them, and that's my problem. All right, so topic for today. So let's get into this shit real juicy. I'm gonna break it down for you for those who don't know. And I know, Akeim, that you're not really too fluent in the subject. So I will give y'all all the motherfucking tea and all the breakdowns. So boom, I did my Google facts before I hopped on this bitch, just so nobody would correct me. Because last week, a lot of people corrected me when I had my stories mixed up. So I don't like to reference anymore unless I get my Google facts. All right, so PJ Washington, 22-year-old. He plays for the Hornets. He was drafted in 2019, 12th pick overall to the Charlotte Hornets, right? Okay, boom, we give you his background. His now ex-wife / his new baby mama, Brittany Renner, which
they were married. They were married.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give you the breakdown of like the storyline too, so it gets even better. Brittany is an IG model and a self-proclaimed fitness guru, essentially. So boom, we got a basketball star, athlete, whatever, and an Instagram model. The fucking usual. Okay, they're together. She's 29. He's 22. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. So in 2019, she was 27 and he was 19. Okay. This is when this girl first started hooking up with him. The timeline of it is she met him when he was 19, playing for Kentucky, and then he got drafted, whatever. They got more serious. Come 2020, they announced that they have a child and they announced that they got married, or somewhere along the lines. Either they got married and then had a kid, or had a kid and then ended up getting married. They tied the knot. Boom. So from 2019 to 2020, they done had a baby and got married already. That's it. She's 27. He's 19 when it starts. So just keep in mind, there's a 7-year age difference. Okay, now fast forward to 2021. She just had a baby, I want to say in like May. So they just had their son. And a couple weeks later, she files for the divorce. And now a couple months later, it's official. They're split. The Instagram pictures came down, all that shit. Supposedly, he was court ordered to pay $200,000 a month for a 3-4 month old child for the next 18 years.
That's a lot of money.
I don't understand it. First of all, I knew it was a lot. He can't even afford that. So the rumor was bullshit. I would understand maybe like 50, 60K being realistic for him where he's at, but 200K is just not realistic at all. It's definitely false.
Do you know his annual salary?
So his net worth, my Google facts, currently is anywhere between like 4.5 million to 7 million, depending on, sponsorships going through and his contract and all that shit, right? He's not predicted to make 14 million until 2 more seasons.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, 200,000 a month within that time is damn near half of his actual salary. So you're telling me he gives up half of his salary to it's going to be 1 year old, whatever, a baby. And the court ordered him to do that?
I don't get how they can if that's half of his salary, I don't get how they can do that though.
They can't do that. Okay, so they definitely can't, but what they can do is go for like, I think it's 20%, 30%, and it really depends. Like, it depends the circumstances behind the divorce, and it depends the circumstances behind like childcare, and if the person is fit to care, and if they want to be in the child's life, shit like that. So that kind of all
If it
determines.
is going to be like kind of co-parenting at all?
So I don't know. I'm not in a business that much, but I'm sure that it seems like it. I mean, he posts the baby, he is around the baby. I don't think he's going to be a deadbeat father. So I'm sure there's going to be some type of like co-parenting agreement. He's definitely going to come out a pretty penny, but I do not think that he's going to come out the full 200 bands a month. He even wrote like "Stop the Cap" recently on his Twitter, and that was like the first break of silence between the two when the whole rumor started. I think I would assume between like the divorce and the child support that she probably is asking for something like that, but I think that's the only thing that's true about the story, is that she might be requesting being paid out that much. But what I don't understand is why do you feel like after 2 years of a whole relationship, it doesn't matter if y'all are married, it doesn't matter if you have a kid, whatever, 2 years of being in someone's life, shit, maybe 3, I don't know, but he was only 18 in 2018, so she couldn't have been in his life for too long. Do you feel like you're owed that? Like, why do people who come into relationships with less think that they should walk out with more of someone else's unless if they didn't build it themselves? Like, to me, I think like by all means, if you get with somebody who has more money than you, you're smart. Okay, cool. Start a business, get investments, do shit like that, put your money in stocks, like save up the money that you can, or learn from somebody who's making more money than you to make more money. But why does this person still owe you after the relationship is over? Because if the roles were flipped, you wouldn't want to pay them. Exactly. So why are you expecting somebody to pay you?
But you know the background story behind her. She started off as like a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, having fucking the players, Then she moved up. She had sex with the rappers like Lil Uzi Vert, and it just seemed like her whole quote unquote career, she's just chasing money. Like she's just a clout chaser and just looking for someone who can give her a kid that can give her that $200,000 a year. And she's probably going to push that in court, to be honest.
For sure. I mean, that's the whole idea of like women like this dating athletes, is because you're going to walk away with more. No matter how you flip it, flop it, you're going to want to walk away with more, especially when a kid becomes in the mix, the bag is secured. That's it. A video actually surfaced from her recently. Let me see if, all right. So I'm trying to, let me see, because, motherfuckers like to do the voiceovers and shit. I don't want to do all that. Okay.
Experience, the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, you could just fuck an athlete. They're really done.
What does she mean the hardest people are to deal with is athletes? Like financial wise?
Like basically, if you want to get money and you want to fuck somebody over, fuck an athlete, because they're gonna fuck you without a condom. You get a baby, you get money. Boom. What did she do? Literally fuck with a young athlete. That jumped into stardom, right? Or I guess, essentially stardom. His 12th overall pick is great. And the bag is promised. Boom, put a baby in you. That's it. Put a baby in you and now you're set. You're going to get money regardless. No matter how much that number is, you're going to get it. But my thing
she knew what she was doing.
She knew exactly what she was doing. And I mean, her best friend is Tiana Trump. Do you know who Tiana Trump is?
Yeah.
Okay. Most men know who Tiana Trump is. That is her best friend. So I'm not big on birds of a feather flock together, but in some instances, that is true. Like there's going to be, I would say like 30% of the time, maybe 25-30% of the time, that's not true. But the other, 65-70% of the time, it is true. Birds of a feather do flock together. The people you surround yourself with definitely change your mindset about certain things, and they also can influence you. So whether she's choosing to be this type or become this type of woman, or the people she surrounds herself with made her that way, it doesn't make it any better. Nobody's going to be around her being like, nah, you shouldn't get that boy for that money. You shouldn't do that. No, they're more like, okay, he's 19. You're 27, fuck with him. He's going to fall in love with you because, you look good. You know what you're doing. As a 27-year-old versus a 19-year-old, your mind is like completely mature compared to them. You already know kind of what to say to people to convince them,
you know
how to move.
manipulate them.
Exactly, you know how to manipulate them. Like, think about it. If you're 19 going into the league, what are you like? First thing you're thinking is, I got all this money to spend and now I got a girl I'm in love with. Let me just fuck the shit out of her, spend hell of money on her and let it be that, because I can live life and everything's going to be perfect. But you don't really realize until shit hits the fan what you got yourself into, which I think is unfair. Like, I don't understand that. I think that when it comes to, child support or spousal support, that shit should only come to play after years of a relationship, because the only way to justify the 200 bands is lifestyle. You got to keep up with the lifestyle. But if you've only had that lifestyle, you know what I mean, or with each other for a couple of years, if that probably really only a full year, because they started fucking around in 2019, didn't really come out to everybody until 2020. It's still 2021.
Yeah.
It's literally been like a year and a half. What could you have got accustomed to in that amount of time that the court felt like you're owed that?
Quarantine just hit. So, I mean, they could have built a real big connection. So
I mean, yeah, but to get accustomed to a certain like lifestyle, even now, like I've lived by myself for about a year now. I'm still like, oh, I live by myself. There's all these things I have to do by myself. There's all like, things that you have to get used to being completely alone versus when I had roommates and the life I used to live. So now I'm getting accustomed to, my lifestyle, my expectations, how I like to live, whatever it is. But I didn't like, I'm still new to this shit. I ain't, like, you're not true to it just yet. You still new to it. Like, you are not, her net worth is 4 million, I want to say, or less than 1 million. So after a couple of years, if she gets 200 bands from him a year, it'll grow to 4 million. So right now she makes less than 1 million in her net worth. So you're telling me she needs to live the same type of lifestyle that she lived being in a relationship with somebody who's got 4 to 7 million behind them? How does that add up?
I don't think that's right. She shouldn't be living, just because they were quote unquote together doesn't mean that she has enough money to support the baby on her own. And he has to pay child support no matter what. But if you're making, let's just say it's at the max, 7 million. If you're making that, he's not making that for the rest of his life. He's not keeping that. So, I mean, he's going to end up losing a majority of money when he stops playing. 200,000 to this baby's 18, and she's going to be pretty much work free her entire life.
I think he needs you as his lawyer. He might need us on his team because listen, my first argument is she is a predator. Okay. She literally, like, I mean, technically he's of legal age, whatever. I don't care. I don't think a man is a grown ass man until he's at least like around his 20s. Even at 21, you're still really young. I don't know how old you are. How old are you?
21.
Okay. You're still really young. That's like, I mean, I'm young too, so I'm not going to sit up here and say whatever, but I'm 26. Now, let's say I was a couple years older, 28, and I'm trying to fuck with you. Wouldn't you automatically be like, damn, she's older. She got her own shit. She's, started this career, whatever. Oh my God, it's this grown woman. I want to fuck with her versus fucking with a girl who's 20, a girl who's 19.
But a lot of guys, they do go like, and when you're like 19, 20, and you're on top of the world already, like you're getting drafted, they want to fuck with a woman that's already put together and, older, like 28. Like, look at Nick Cannon. This man.
But what does a 20? Yeah, but Nick Cannon started fucking with Mariah. Well, he was like in his late 20s, 30s.
She's 11 years older, but she was already established. So.
Yeah, but Nick Cannon also had something behind his belt too. Like Nick Cannon was already into like having his own businesses, stuff like that. So I think it's a little more, they were a little more in each other's tax, or a lot more actually in each other's tax bracket than what people lead on. Like people look at Nick Cannon like, oh, he had a failed rap career, whatever. He had businesses the whole time, like he's a true businessman. That's why he's always somewhat relevant. Nick Cannon got money too. He don't got Mariah Carey money is long, but that's because her ass started in the 90s.
Yeah, but I know he has money and everything. I'm just saying, like, looking up, like you look for a woman who's already established, so you don't have to bring up. And PJ Washington and Brittany, she was already up. So it's not like making somebody famous that wasn't famous already. You know what I
Right,
mean?
but he's getting way more up than her if you just seeing like the profits coming in. It's an IG model versus an athlete. They're not in the same tax bracket. There's no way. They're not. I mean, but she definitely probably lives like a good lifestyle, able to buy herself designer things like that. Live in like a house, drive a nice car, shit like that. So I could see that part of it, cool. But you're going after a woman who out in the open literally says she fucks dudes for money. She said it more than once. She
wrote a
like
book about it.
Like she wrote a book about it. Like it's kind of like he's a fucking idiot. But at the same time, how could you blame him being that young?
Yeah,
and she knew that.
You think with your head and not the wrong head, put it that way.
What would a 29-year-old now, he's 22, whatever. What would a 29, 27, whatever the fuck age she was or she is, what do you want with a man who's 7 years younger than you? Because for me, I like a man that's older than me. I'm not going to go for somebody who's younger than me because it just doesn't make sense. Don't you want somebody?
The athletes that she said are dumb. She called athletes dumb. She wants to be able to be in control and, you know, just brainwash them. That's what she wants. She's only been with majority of the people she's been with are athletes.
I have a different viewpoint, which I will stick up for her because she never hid who she was to him. Even though to me, I think she's wrong because it's like, okay, bitch, you just scammed out all that. That's a lot of money. Cool, whatever. But on the other hand, she's smart because you never hid who you were. It is what it is. You gave it 2 years, whatever you filed for divorce, boom, came up on it. That's his fault that he chose to have, you know, fall in love with you, have a kid with you, whatever. He should have knew what he was walking into. Also, there's men that do this same thing. And when we hear the stories, we're like, oh, well, you know, majority of people, not I, but most of the men be like, oh, city boys up one, or it is what it is. Like, finally, women get what they deserve. A lot of the times it's like whoever has the most money ends up being the person who ends up losing no matter what. If you get into a relationship with somebody who has less money than you, cool. But there's women like Wendy Williams. She's worth 40 million. She divorced her husband, Kevin Hunter, and she had to give him $250,000 just so he can move into a place. Do you want to guess how much he pays a month for his rent in his new place?
With what? Just for what she paid?
Just like it. Just she gave him $250 to move out, and then there was a bunch of other costs. He got paid out because he used to be her manager and like help produce her show. But of course, you know, they split. He had to be fired. Whatever. He asked for that much for, you know, to support his living costs. And then of course, you know, all his clothes out. So he got more than 250 bands from her, but that was the agreement. And that was it.
I'm thinking for rent, he's probably paying like $7,000 a month. It's
15.
More? 15.
He moved into a place that he pays $15,000 a month in Manhattan. For what reason? You are now unemployed and you're now divorced. His net worth is 10 million though. So with 10 million, he could probably still afford the 15,000. How long that's going to prolong net worth is just how much money they've made within the time. So I don't know where his bank account is, but if you're only getting 250,000 from your wife in the spousal support, whatever the fuck you want to call it, what are you gonna? So you're gonna move into a $15,000 apartment a month? Why? For what reason? What's the reason? I'm confused why people with less money want to still live a lifestyle without. They basically want the person that they got separated from to support their new lifestyle without them. That doesn't make sense to me, whether you're a man or a woman. And any man that lives off of a woman, to me, it's weird. No, women are weird too, but like,
off of a woman.
She didn't even cheat. They just broke up. It wasn't a thing. I don't understand it. But also, they were together for 25 years. So after 25 years of him living this lifestyle with her, he got all his shares sold and he got the profit from it. And he got 250 bands. So you're telling me that, you know, even if this was even though it's debunked and it's a false story, if it was real, you're telling me that people in their minds could believe that this girl deserves $200,000 a month for a newborn child, and a 1-year marriage?
I don't think so. I really don't. I just
I don't
think,
believe in that.
but what I think, I'm just confused on, I understand they live this amazing lifestyle and they're like, rich and all this stuff, but what newborn needs 200 grand?
Well, okay. In that cost, you have to make sure that you understand that rent is part of that cost too.
Yeah,
A
no,
lot of
rent,
times when rich people separate, it's like you're basically paying the rent for that child because you need to make sure that child is never homeless.
well, yeah, you need to put a roof over their head, but like you said, the Wendy Williams and the other guy,
And Kevin Hunter.
yeah, he's getting 250K, but his rent is 15,000 a month. But the Brittany girl, there's no way her rent is over 15 grand a month or whatever. You know what I'm
I
saying?
gotta see where she lives. She might have a mortgage that's 50, 60 bands, which is once a year, but still, like, I don't know. Kids are expensive. I just don't know what newborn, no matter, how much designer, what house you have.
Why does the baby need to be in designer? That's my question.
Because it's a lifestyle thing. The point of like the spousal support and the child support is maintaining the lifestyle you had when you were a family. So that's where a lot of times people win. And I'm like bringing up another real life example of a richer woman who isn't even paying the 200 grand a month. Kelly Clarkson. She divorced her husband, Brandon Blackstock, a few years, I think actually in 2020, it became official. She has to pay $195,000 a month. And this is all confirmed, proof, fact, everything. Google told me so. $195,000 a month to him for spousal support and child support. Now, $45,000 of that is going to the child. $150,000 of that is going to him every single month. I don't know how long that lasts. I don't know if it's just until the kids are 18 that he gets his spousal support too, or until she gets remarried or what. But what the fuck? Why do you feel like you owe, like, I would be mad as fuck if I was her, and her net worth is 45 million. And again, he's another husband who's worth 10 million. She's worth 35 more million dollars in you. And you feel like she owes you $150,000. Why? And why are you asking for that? I don't care how you should be able to maintain your lifestyle separate from someone, because you should have set yourself up to live that lifestyle.
That just shows people are very dependent on others.
That shows that the court system is fucked up, because what lawyer, like he had a fire ass lawyer, and her lawyer must have just been shitted, because she had to pay the $2 million that his lawyer cost, plus all of, all her own fees, plus all the, I guess it would be considered like alimony, whatever, spousal support and the child support. 45,000 for the kids, right? A month. Guess who has primary like custody of them?
The way this conversation is going, I think it's Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah. So she has primary custody of these kids. The court still determined that she had to pay $45,000 a month to him in child support. So that's just the portion that the kids are with him, that they cost that much, I guess, a month. And then another $150,000 a month. So that way he can he can maintain the lifestyle that he had with her. They were together for about 7 or 8 years.
Oh, well, they're maintaining the lifestyle that they keep at their mom's house. You know what I mean?
He has to maintain that for himself. Yeah. So 150,000. I honestly, that's goals. 150,000 that you're making away. You don't have to get a job. You'll never have to work again. You literally can chill, unless, obviously there's the time limit on it and you're whatever. But if you're blowing 150,
he's not spending that much money on the kids. He's not maxing out the 45K a month.
I mean, depends how old they are. I think they're like 7 and 6, but what are y'all buying? What is the court saying? Okay, because I know people in real life child support court now, and they barely can get $200 from their fucking exes.
My dad, I only got $80 every 2 weeks or $60.
I'm saying like the normal person
that they're getting this much money. Like I'm mind blown right now.
It just doesn't make, to me, it isn't right to me, because Like, why does the court feel like, okay, the person that makes more money, boom, y'all separate. I think the person that has the child the most, if there's kids in the situation, should get some money, of course,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
enough
yeah.
for the child, nothing unrealistic, especially if they're still trying to be a parent. Because
Yeah.
it makes no sense if the person is still trying to be a parent, then cool. Now, the Wendy Williams is, okay, some weird shit because they don't have kids or anything together. It's just them.
So he's just getting paid.
Yeah, well, he just got paid, yeah, off all his shit. I mean, she got money in the bank. It's whatever. That money to them is nothing. And I think that's what the court basically rules out, is like, technically, however much money they have,
But did
it
they get a
means nothing to
prenup? Did
them.
they get a prenup before all this? Because
That's
can't-
what they need. I think that women need to try to go for the prenups too, and men too. Like, why not? If that's where you're at, if your partner is not, and don't get me wrong, I'm not signing a prenup, but I'm also, if I get in a relationship with somebody who's making millions, I'm going to end up being a millionaire on my own as well, because I'm going to invest into myself. The partner that I choose to be married with is going to make sure I'm straight too. That's the smart way. I think once you separate, your lives should go completely separate unless there's children involved. When there's children involved, then it's different. But for it to make sense, nobody needs, I don't care if your child is 20 or whatever the fuck, 16, 17 when they break up, your kid don't need $200,000 a month.
No.
Doesn't matter.
I really don't think any kid needs that. That's how you get fucking like bougie kids and stuff. I don't know, man.
No, rich parents is how you get bougie kids.
Well, yeah,
not child support.
$1,000 personally to you a month, you get bougie kids too.
200,000.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it's theirs. But most of the time, do you think that the parent that receives the money, are they giving it to their kids directly? I don't think he's giving his kids that 45 bands. I mean, I don't know what he's doing with it, but I don't think he's giving them
their
that.
Lifestyle and designer clothes. And let's be realistic. He gets $45K a month for kids. And being realistic, he probably spends max, I'd say, because they get shared custody, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say 20 grand max a month.
I think 20 grand makes sense. That'll help him with his bills, just in case, whatever for the kids. Definitely grocery shop, clothes, things like that. As long as people live by their means, then cool. Like, I don't think that child support, if the parents doing 50-50 or however their custody split is, should be over that. Because if you need to buy them extravagant things, then you need to buy them extravagant things. You need to supplement that for them, because that's how you want them to live. No child is like, oh my God, I love that Gucci belt. I need that Gucci sweater. Like, they don't know what that shit is unless you teach them that's what they need, right? And if that's the way that you want them to like live in your house, then you need to make sure they live like that in your house. And then if they can live like that in their other parents' house, then that's what they can do. But just this much money is crazy to me.
Washington and Brittany, it's a newborn baby. They haven't taught the baby that yet. So why does that baby deserve 200K?
I don't, honestly though, he don't even make enough for that argument. But I guarantee, like, at the end of everything, she'll probably get at least, unless, she has a bomb ass lawyer and they acquire that. That's crazy to me. She'll probably get like max 70, 80.
I think that's very real.
I think that's more realistic, especially because he's just predicted to make more and more money throughout his career. He's still young, still healthy. So that's realistic. I mean, going over 100K is like, I don't know about that, but she still came up off a bag, because it's like, your baby's not going to cost you that much.
No.
Probably cost you like the way that they live, maybe like 10, 15 bands for a newborn to be fully like taken care of in that lifestyle. But anything over that is just extreme. On the other hand, why do, and I'm saying she's wrong, but why do we feel like she's wrong? Because she's a hoe? Because she made people know she was a hoe? She went for him because he was young and took advantage of him and whatever?
Yeah, that's why she's wrong. She knew it. I mean, she knew what she was doing, and kudos to her, but she's wrong in the situation.
Is he not wrong in any way? Like, he's not wrong for being smarter than that. He's not wrong for fucking her without a condom and impregnating her, or no, because, they got married?
who knows? He could have actually been in love with her.
He probably was. I'm sure he was.
'Cause
They
a
had
lot of
family pictures and
people-
shit.
Yes, who knows? They were probably, or he was probably in love, but she knew her main objective was the entire time. So I wouldn't say he's wrong in the situation, and I just fully put it on her.
Okay, so we think that he's a victim and we feel bad for him. But flip it to athletes that cheat on their wives with girls and have babies with them and then shit on the woman that they had the baby with, like if the baby made itself.
Well, the guy's in the wrong for that. You know, they did a wrong thing by going to cheat and then they clearly had sex with no condom when they're cheating. So they're in the wrong. But if you go back to this situation, I didn't hear anything about him cheating. So he was in love. You know, you did a wrong action. You had a kid with another person while you're still entangled with somebody else. But over here, it's a healthy relationship.
And that women get, and not all women, but a lot of times when women fuck with men who are in these positions, they get fucked over a lot of the times. So now that there's a man getting fucked over, it's like breaking news. Like, holy shit, she's getting his ass for all this money. I can't believe her, stupid ass whore. But there's men that beat their wives. There's men that, you know, cheat on their wives or their girlfriends or whatever, have kids with multiple women, have kids with them, make them look stupid, treat them like shit, don't claim them in the public eye, but they still get praised. They're still like, oh my God, you know, he just scored a touchdown or they just won a championship. You love them still. But when women do it, like she's going to be shunned for a while. And I think people are going to talk shit about her for a long time. And okay, she's fucked up. I will agree. I did say she was fucked up. Cool. But why do men get different treatment when it comes to them doing fucked up shit when they're an athlete or they're a superstar, they're a celebrity?
That's the answer I don't know. This is weird how society is.
It's weird because Wendy Williams, first of all, we're not Wendy Williams supporters over here. She just be saying some reckless shit and she's always in people's business. So whatever. But Wendy Williams, people were laughing at her. They were like, oh shit, whatever. They didn't say like, oh damn, her husband got all this money from her. That's not fair. You know, he has his own money too. He should have invested himself this shit. No one said shit about Kelly Clarkson's husband either. Everyone was like, oh shit, he came up off a bag. Good for him. Now for her, it's like, wow, what a whore. She was only with him for money. Do you see how the storyline switched?
Well, didn't you say that who was Wendy Williams? No, what you said Wendy Williams and they were together for like 20 some years, right?
Yeah, like 20, 25 years.
Not in it for the bag. And Kelly Clarkson, they were in it together for 7, 8 years married, but together, who knows for how long? Like they're not in it for the bag. Brittany is in the wrong because she was just in it for the money. And you could tell she was just in it for the money, especially with the post that you played. Like that's showing that she's just in it for the money.
But why? Why couldn't the guys be in it for money too? You could be with somebody for 7, 8 years and it just be, look at fucking, how long was it Nicole Richie? Let's see. I'm gonna look it up. She married like a billionaire or something.
Was he old?
Yeah, old as fuck. He was in like she was like in her 20s and he was crusty, dusty, and in a wheelchair already. He looked like chocolate, like the shit from SpongeBob, like that. So
I don't really understand how someone could fall in love with someone 50, 40 years older than them.
How could somebody fall in love with someone 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, 30 years younger than them?
I don't know. Well, as an old person, I could see why, but as a young person, I don't get how you can fall in love with someone who's in a wheelchair.
Why? Because they can't run? Because they can't walk? So now you have something against people in wheelchairs?
No, I don't have nothing against people in wheelchairs. I'm just saying I don't get how you like. I'm just thinking like if it was me and I was dating somebody and like 50 years older and they're like, you know, bed rest or like that, falling in love with someone that I just met while they're bed rest it's kind of like 1 in a million and it's weird.
It is not Nicole Richie. I'm way off. Nicole Richie is the girl who used to hang out with Paris Hilton. It is Anna Nicole Smith. She married in 1994. She married 89-year-old billionaire J. Howard Marshall. And then, of course, she married him for money. She was, let's see, she married him in 1994. And she married him in 1994. He died in 1995. but she said she didn't marry him for money, right? Let me
That's the
see how.
exact thing that's what I'm saying. Like, she's waiting for him to die.
Duh. Like, bro, the fucking wedding photos, literally, she's like kissing him and he's like crusty as fuck. She was 27. He was 89.
Yeah.
So 27.
Like you dating 89-year-old.
That's literally like me dating a fucking 89-year-old. That's 62 years age difference. And you're telling me y'all had anything in common. That's another thing. What? They don't have anything in common. Like, what do you have in common?
Started off with sugar daddying, even though she was a Playboy girl. Sugar daddying is a thing, especially old people.
Is sugar daddying a thing? Clearly. Sugar momming is a thing too. Obviously, we see that it can go both ways. 60 years is a lot. 60 years is 6 generations.
Exactly.
Of years.
11
so a
years,
lot happens.
11 years really isn't that big of an age gap.
So what do you think? 20 years is like a big age gap?
I'd say like 16 to 20, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I think even 5 years, because okay, let's say when I was 15, what, you're 21, I'm 26. That's 5 years. Boom. When I was 15, you were 10. When I was 20, you were 15. What were you doing at that time? Playing with Legos and shit, getting into high school.
But hey, I wasn't playing with Legos when I'm 10 years old or 15 years old.
What were you playing with? Fucking Nerf guns? I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
basketball, but but you got to think, when you're older, you're more mature. It doesn't matter. Anybody could, like you were saying, when you're like 18, 19, you can't be mature. Like, I'm a mature 21-year-old. Like, I'm very mature for my age. I think, and I actually know that. But for the
what's your outlook on relationships right now?
For what?
Like, are you looking for relationships? Are you looking?
Oh no,
I'm you're in a relationship right now? Damn, I don't want to get you in trouble. Fuck it. Wait. So how long you been in your relationship?
2.5 years.
Okay. And you guys met like what, in school?
In high school, yeah.
In high school, okay. Do you plan on marrying her?
I do.
So at what point did you feel like she was the one?
What point? Oh, this is like a dating app, right? Or a dating questionnaire. I'd say when because we do long distance. She actually left for college today.
Okay. Congratulations to her.
Yes, congratulations. But I'd say when I felt like she was the one is when her freshman year going into college, when she left, and like how I felt when she left. I really missed her. And just, us being able to keep that communication when I'm not a good communicator. Like, I suck at communicating, but for her to stick by my side is the big thing. And then for her just supporting my dreams, like whenever, like that's something that.
So maybe you found somebody that you can be with for the rest of your life. Normal people, when they meet somebody at 18, 19, because that's roughly y'all age. Do you have an age difference, or are you both 21?
I'm 20, she turns 21 in October. I'm 21, she's 20, so two months.
Oh, okay. So basically the same age. So you guys have the same type of mindset. You have the same type of like experience. You went to high school around the same time. You're doing college at the same time.
Yeah, but as a kid, I seeked for the older woman. Like, yeah.
Did you lose your virginity to your girlfriend?
No.
Okay. Did she lose her virginity to you?
It's kind of personal, but
I'm just saying, like,
business out. But yeah, she lost her virginity to me.
Okay. She doesn't know any other men. She doesn't really know what else is out there. I'm not saying she's going to find out. I'm just saying it's a possibility. You guys are young. I hope you last forever. I wish you the best. I really do. But I'm just saying, realistically, you don't know. You're so young right now. So you still have time to learn. Like, you feel like she's the one for you, whatever, but you guys have time to learn things and grow. You're young though, and you can grow together. When somebody is old and somebody is young, the young person can be in love and not know anything else, but the older person knows love can come and go, or they've been through cycles of feeling the same way. Sometimes, God willing, you'll be with somebody for 30, 40 years. And I hope that on you guys, that y'all together for 30, 40 years and you last the rest of your life. But in a lot of cases, that's not what it is. So to me, when somebody's so much older or grew up in a different like time space, why are you fucking with somebody so young?
The young is fun, they say.
They say.
Yeah, I mean, we're fun. Like, we go out, we have a blast. The old people are more, in the house 24/7, all that stuff. But so you're 26. Have you dated somebody 5 years younger than you before?
Never. I would never either. I have a
Never.
whole different, like, my mindset on it is, what can you do for me that you're that much younger than me?
Have you dated someone younger than you at all?
Okay, so, and I think I'm biased because I had a situation, I wasn't like, not officially dating, like not boyfriend, girlfriend dating at all. Like dating as in hanging out dating.
Talking.
Somebody who was 23 and I was 20, I guess 25. He was about to be 24. That didn't work out for me. When I went to his house, his sheets were fucking 2 different colors, 2 different type. He didn't have an official, like, to me, it's like your house and your home is everything at my age.
You're judging him off of his bed sheet.
Yes. That's because at the age that I am, it's like, okay, I'm so used to like fucking with people who are older. So their house and home is set. I'm not going to a man's house and they don't have a fridge full of food, or their bed is not like fucking all the sheets match. It's a bedroom set, stuff like that. So, or decorated. I'm not going and it's like, I don't know, college. It was giving college. And I'm like, I'm out of college. I'm not there. So I think the younger you go, the more you're going for someone that's not gonna be in your same like wavelength, because how could they be? You can't do anything for a person who's younger than you, like in their 20s, except teach them. You're never really gonna get too much from them except for a good time.
Okay.
A pretty face and a good time. You grow up with different mindsets. Like, okay, if somebody's 60 and they're fucking with a 19-year-old, you're going to be looking crazy. Because like, that could be your kid.
That could be your grandkid.
You're experiencing the aftermath of like segregation. You're experiencing like the fucking depression, like shit like that. You're experiencing things in life that I could never imagine experiencing. I mean, we're experiencing COVID, economic shutdown, having a Black president, shit like that. Cool. But it was a whole new mindset. They experienced not having cell phones. I never knew what it was like not to have a cell phone. Like when I was younger, when like a kid, we had house phones and your parents had like big ass cell phones and shit, and you didn't have one. But by the time I was in like late elementary school, middle school, I had my own cell phone. And that was a normal life. By the time I was smart enough to know how to really like use a phone or had a social life and was able to hang out, cell phones were a thing and they were normalized. So I never experienced the whole, you had to walk down the block to meet somebody, knock on their door type of shit. We now have social media. We growing up in like, the kids that are like 15 right now look 28. And social media is allowing them to, be a hold of these guys who are like in their mid to late 20s that are interested in these young girls because they look older. It doesn't make sense to me. And that's why shit like this happens, because you get taken advantage of. And same thing with girls to guys. Like, when did Brittany and him get in the same room together?
Had to be when she was at the game.
Why is she going to the game? To try to reel herself something. But yes. I mean, I'm sure Instagram is where it started.
Probably.
Like, Instagram is such a big, like, predator ring. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't call her a predator, but it's definitely, she knew what she was doing, taking advantage of a younger mind.
Okay, so if it was a 27, 28-year-old man fucking with a 19-year-old, you wouldn't look at him different.
I wouldn't say it in the same circumstance. 27 and a 19, like, I would think it's a little weird, but I wouldn't think it's like crazy weird.
If next year I see a fine 19-year-old that's getting drafted, whatever, I'm not fucking with them. You're 19.
You also don't know like, their minds. They can have, like, you don't know what we don't know the conversations that Brittany and PJ Washington have. We don't know that. We're just going off of what.
I don't know what conversation a 19-year-old and a 27-year-old can have that really lasts that long.
There's
outside of
19
sex.
that could have been through a lot of things that, you know, they can, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word, connect with on that same level. We don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't go too deep in the whole age gap unless it's a 27 and a 17-year-old. Like that's when I'll be like, okay, fucking weird as shit. But I mean, 18 is the legal age, so your mind is sort of developed and you're not fucking retarded. So
the oldest I'll go is probably like, you know, ideally 6-7 years, 6 or 7 years, because I feel like that's still we're still going through similar things. We still have similar mindset and we're still growing together. Like I don't want a fucking 45-year-old that's going to be 50 soon. And then that shit starts to wear on you. Your age starts to wear on you. So I'm still growing and glowing and they start wrinkling and shit. I'm not on that. Yeah, I was going to say tinkling, but wrinkling and just, you know, depleting. They're tired all the time. How could you, you know, like there's no longevity in it.
There's a age gap, but I don't think, you know, I would say
age gap matters.
I don't think it matters. I think if you found love, you found love. But there's a lot of people that don't find love. They're just in it for the money.
Thank you so much for stopping by. I want you to tell the people how they can find you, where they can look you up at, and all that good shit.
You can look me up on IG at it's Akeim, and you can look me up on YouTube at AkeimTheDream. No spaces at all. No spaces. AkeimTheDream. AkeimTheDream. That's my YouTube. That's my podcast.
As long as you know how to spell, you'll be able to find them.
Yeah, I had a great time on your podcast. AkeimTheDream. I got all the niggas on my team. Chugging.
Still got it.
Still got it.
Just like college days.